How is it going, everyone? Today my WWE SummerSlam 2019 pay-per-view. Of course, SummerSlam aired live on the WWE Network as well as pay-per-view tonight. I gotta say, overall, coming out of SummerSlam, I thought it was a very good pay-per-view. I, had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was very enjoyable. I thought most things were at that good level. There were a few things that were just okay, but for the most part, I feel like everything was mainly good. We had a handful of great matches as well. We had some moments, definitely some moments, and a great debut, I guess you can say, for The Fiend, which was just absolutely badass. And the runtime was great too. It was only 3.5 hours, which with WWE shows nowadays is pretty much unheard of. Actually, I think it was maybe a little under 3.5 hours, so even better. The shorter the better, right? But overall, I just thought SummerSlam was a fun show. It was easy to sit through, and really I have no complaints about it. I will definitely give it a 2 thumbs up. And like I said, thought it was a very good pay-per-view from WWE here. Of course, before we get to the main show, we did have the 2-hour kickoff show prior to the pay-per-view itself, which featured 3 matches on it, which first one being the WWE Cruiserweight Championship match, Gulak defending against Oney Lorcan. This match could have been better. It was very short though, which blows my mind. They have a 2-hour kickoff show. They have 3 matches scheduled only, and each match was under 10 minutes. Like, I don't understand. You're gonna tell me that in 2 hours you're gonna have less than 30 minutes of in-ring time? I don't know. They definitely could utilize the time better. But yeah, like I said, it was a short match, but it was good for what it was. Right from the get-go, Gulak was very aggressive on Oney Lorcan. Oney Lorcan hit a great clothesline, not a clothesline, uppercut, sorry, on Gulak. So it was very hard hitting. I thought both of them worked very well. Gulak scooped Oney Lorcan and just slammed him to the ropes at one point for a great spot. And it was just, like I said, hard hitting. Gulak was just absolutely slapping some hits on Oney Lorcan before Lorcan tried to have a comeback. But, Gulak just put him down, thrust punch to the throat, and then ended up being his finish for the 1-2-3. So Gulak retains the WWE Cruiserweight Championship. Good match, just if had more time, could have been way better. Buddy Murphy took on Apollo Crews, which was good. It was Buddy Murphy's first main roster match, I guess you can say. So Apollo Crews had a pretty decent match. I felt by the time it was picking up, the match ended. Right from the get-go, Buddy Murphy, hit a running knee, and he tried to hit every move and immediately tried to pin Apollo as fast as he could. Apollo had to come back, hit a beautiful Samoan drop, and try to get some of his stuff in. But Buddy Murphy was definitely very impressive in this match against Apollo. Hit a beautiful running powerbomb at one point on Apollo for a nice near fall. Dumped Apollo to the outside, ended up hitting a dive, which would lead into Rowan attacking Buddy Murphy, hitting with a running crossbody and just taking him out. So Buddy Murphy wins this match via disqualification. I didn't mind it because it plays perfectly into the story with Buddy Murphy, riding out Rowan and Roman Reigns. So it makes sense, and maybe it'll input, Buddy Murphy into the whole, Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns situation. Maybe we'll get a tag match between, Reigns and Buddy versus Bryan and Rowan at some point. Maybe we might get, Bryan and Buddy. Obviously, I think a Rowan Murphy match is somewhere in the future, but I feel like the DQ didn't have to happen. I feel like Buddy Murphy could have beat Apollo Crews because it's Apollo Crews. It wouldn't have hurt him or anything. And then they could have done a beatdown afterwards, but I guess the DQ finishes protects both of them and, sets up a rematch on SmackDown Live. So I don't mind it, but I think it definitely could have been handled differently. We had Elias' performance, which, was typical Elias' performance, sits on the town and sings. And Edge came out and interrupt him. But not only did Edge come out and interrupt him, Edge speared him. For the first time, I believe, since he retired, Edge actually got physical in WWE, and it was awesome. I bet that was such a relieving and closure moment for him because, he didn't retire in his own terms. He had to retire. And, he was never cleared to compete. And yet here he is, in Toronto, Canada, of all places, getting physical for the first time in years and hitting a spear. I don't think that moment was any better for him. So I was very glad Edge got that moment, and it was definitely so awesome seeing him hit that spear again. I legitimately jumped up and got chills from it because I didn't believe I'd ever see him get physical again. So awesome to see Edge be able to do that. And then, of course, we had our WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match as well. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross defending against the IIconics. This match was bad. The IIconics absolutely suck, man. I like them, but it hurts me to watch them wrestle. They're so bad. They look like they're always afraid to take bumps, especially Billie Kay. Literally, Nikki Cross jumped on her back, and, instead of going straight back, she held the ropes and, slowly went down. What the fuck? I just don't get those two and why they look so afraid to bump all the time. But, not Nikki, I apologize. Alexa and Peyton Royce had a pretty decent exchange, but Alexa Bliss ended up getting the KO punch, followed by Twisted Bliss 1-2-3. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross retained the women's tag team title. So, bad match. Nothing more to talk about that. And then, of course, we actually had a segment with the OC talking to Finn Bálor, and they pretty much told him, hey, just say when, and you're in. So, I like that segment. It was great to see all 4 of them together for the first time since I believe SummerSlam 2016. So it's been 3 years since we've seen all 4 of them together on WWE, and it left the door open for those 4 to be together at some point. So I thought it was a fun segment. I liked it. And that was a kickoff show. It wasn't bad, but, you know, really wasn't much to see besides that OC segment, honestly. But, you know, it was what it was. And then we go to the main show, which opened up with the submission match for the Raw Women's Championship. Becky Lynch defending against Natalya. This was actually a pretty good opening match. This match took me by surprise. It was a lot better than I anticipated it. I thought Natalya showed, you know, better performance than she has in years. And Becky, you know, was still carrying on her strong title reign. I feel like she's still doing a good job, and her and Natalya delivered a good match. They brawled, went to the outside. Natalya swung Becky into the barricade to take her out for a bit. Worked on Becky's left leg, you know, scooped her and threw her into the ropes to tangle legs up. Locked into sharpshooter, you know, on the middle rope, which I thought played excellently. At one point, Becky ended up blocking the sharpshooter of her own onto Natalya, which I thought was, you know, great, and people questioned if a screw job was incoming. And then, of course, you know, Becky was able to, you know, get Natalya into the sharpshooter. She submits, so Becky Lynch obviously retains the Raw Women's Championship. Like I said, that was a good opener. I enjoyed it. I thought both women worked pretty hard and had a pretty good match overall. And, you know, there was some, you know, a lot of smooth transitions and counters as well. And it was just a good opening match, so can't complain about that. Goldberg versus Dolph Ziggler. Immediately the bell rings. Ziggler hits a super kick, pins Goldberg, kicks out. Another super kick, Goldberg kicks out. Sets up for the third. Gets hit with a huge fucking spear. Tremendous spear, might I add. Ziggler sold his ass off. Fucking awesome. Gets hit with the jackhammer. 1, 2, 3. Goldberg squashes Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler gets on the mic. I believe he calls Goldberg a dipshit. He literally calls him a dipshit, I think. And then Goldberg comes back, destroys Ziggler again with another spear. Goes back. Ziggler still talks shit on the mic. Goldberg helps him up, hits him with another spear, which those spears were just as good as the first one, if you ask me, especially the third one. The third one was absolutely awesome. And I thought that whole segment was great. I thought the match was exactly what it needed to be. Ziggler talking shit on the mic was hilarious because it was absolute nonsense what he was saying. And watching Goldberg kill him was very satisfying. So that entire match and post-match segment, absolutely loved every second of it. So great stuff there. Then we have the United States Championship match. AJ Styles defending against Ricochet. Ricochet coming out in great Nightwing gear, which I thought. And this match is just as good as their Extreme Rules match, if you ask me. Ricochet he always does shit that impresses me. He always does something that makes my jaw drop, and he did that in this match as well. He ran on top of Anderson and Gallows. They hit a Hurricanrana on AJ Styles, which came off greatly. You know, they worked on, or AJ worked on Ricochet's left leg, which I thought Ricochet was selling greatly. You know, it affected every move he was doing. He did a one-legged springboard, which was very fucking impressive. How easily he made it look was beyond me, but Ricochet is selling the leg and the springboard, I thought was great. Ricochet took out Gallows. You know, he ended up hitting a moonsault. Locked in the Anaconda Vice. You know, Ricochet was locked into the calf crusher, but he ended up countering it into the Anaconda Vice, which is the first time I believe we saw the Anaconda Vice in WWE since CM Punk last used it. And then, of course, you know, ended up taking out Anderson once he set up for the 6:30, it looked like, but Anderson got up, ended up kicking out Anderson, and it looked like he was appearing to go for the Phoenix Splash, but AJ catches him into a powerbomb, which he follows it up with a Styles Clash, and 1, 2, 3, AJ Styles retains the United States Championship. Like I said, I thought it was a great match. I definitely enjoyed it. Then afterwards, Anderson and Gallows hit the Magic Kill on Ricochet to kind of finish him off once and for good there. So yeah, I definitely had a lot of fun with that match. Thought it was great. Ricochet's selling was great. AJ looked phenomenal, no pun intended. You know, he was able to capitalize on Ricochet's leg by, you know, able to do a lot of counters based off Ricochet's speed decreasing because he is on one leg. AJ was able to capitalize on that, counter a lot of things, and it came off very smooth and crisp a lot of the time as well. So yeah, love that match. Thought it was great. Really enjoyed it. We had a segment with the Street Profits and Ric Flair backstage, so that was great, very entertaining, which led into the SmackDown Women's Championship match, Bayley defending against Ember Moon. Not really much to say about this match. It's kind of just there. The crowd's dead. I don't think anyone really cared for it. I feel like by the time the match started picking up, it came to a conclusion, so it's just one of those matches where as soon as it got good, the match ended. So yeah, I mean, there really wasn't much to it. It wasn't bad, but it was a decent match, not much to it. Ember Moon hit a beautiful crossbody, a lot of great counters, like Bayley going for the elbow, but Ember Moon ducking for it, and then hitting a thrust kick on Bayley. Some nice transitions and counters, and then, you know, finish came with Bayley hitting a Bayley to belly off the top rope to pin Ember Moon to retain the SmackDown Women's Championship. Like I said, that was a solid match. It had some good stuff, and Ember Moon hit a beautiful Hurricanrana on Bayley, or vice versa, Bayley hit it on Ember Moon. I don't remember who hit what, but a Hurricanrana was hit, and I know, I thought it was, you know, it was just there. There really wasn't much more to it. Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon. Of course, stipulation states if Kevin Owens loses, he must quit WWE. Of course, Shane comes out, announces a special guest enforcer in Elias, and the match itself was fun. There really wasn't much wrestling. It was kind of just Shane and Owens going at it, and then, you know, Shane was kind of screwing with the referees. You know, Owen hit a cannonball, and then, you know, he did a frog splash, but when you go for the pin like Elias, they pulled the referee out. Just a whole bunch of that nonsense. Owens took an awesome bump though. Shane just absolutely threw Owens off the apron into the barricade, which came off awesome. But yeah, there really wasn't much to it. Owens hit a pop-up powerbomb to the last guy involved once again. Owens was able to take out Elias, hit a stunner on Shane McMahon. 1, 2, 3. Kevin Owens defeats Shane McMahon. Like I said, it was fun, but really wasn't more of a match. It was more of a segment than anything else. And it was satisfying though to see, you know, Owens get the victory. So really wasn't much to it, but definitely was a great moment for Owens, and he was over like a motherfucker as well. So no complaints from me about that. From there, we go to Trish Stratus taking on Charlotte Flair. This match took me by a huge surprise because I thought this match would be, I thought it'd be good, but I thought it'd just be that. I mean, just be good, nothing more than that. Well, actually, no, I take that back. I felt like the shorter the match was going to be, the better. But I was proven wrong. This match was a great match. Trish still has it. You know, she had a great performance here. I thought with her performances like in the Royal Rumble and in Evolution from last year that, you know, she couldn't really go that long. But her and Charlotte went out there and had a really good 10-15 minute match. Trish was bumping her ass off. You know, she took a barricade spot. She got kicked right off the apron, took a back bump onto the outside. You know, Trish was taking some bumps from Charlotte, and Charlotte was giving it to her too. You know, especially the big boots she was laying in. She was laying that shit in on Trish. So all credit to Trish to being able to, you know, keep up and really kind of outshine majority of the women's roster today as well. You know, I feel like Trish Stratus could come back and easily be the women's champion and just beat everyone, and I don't think anyone would really mind. So I think Trish definitely like $1 million, and her and Charlotte just they clicked, and you can say this is arguably match of the night. It was definitely one of the best, if not the best, WWE women's main roster match this year. It was great. You know, there's Trish looked great. You know, she was able to hit, you know, Stratusfaction. She was able to hit the kick a handful of times. She ended up hitting locking in the figure 8 at one point on Charlotte, which was great selling by Charlotte. She really sold the fact that she might have tapped out on that, which I thought was excellent on her part. And you know, ended up hitting a powerbomb, or she was going for a powerbomb on Trish off the second rope, but Trish countered that into a Hurricanrana, which was kind of pretty much similar to the spot Ember and Bayley did earlier on. But, you know, it is what it is. Trish looked great doing it. And, you know, Trish ended up tapping out to the figure 8, which I thought was the right decision. So Charlotte defeats Trish Stratus, and which, like I said, it was a great match. By far, you know, arguably the best women's match of the year. And, you know, it took me by surprise. I didn't think it'd be that good, but Charlotte pulls another one out and delivered a great match to Trish Stratus. But, yeah, that match definitely made me want to see more of Trish Stratus in the ring. It's unfortunate, though, because this is their final match. But you know what? It's a hell of a way to go out. And honestly, this is probably Trish Stratus' best match of all time. I'm gonna go there and say it. Trish Stratus' best match of all time, if you ask me. So, yeah, Trish and Charlotte, hell of a match, great stuff there. And then, of course, we go to the WWE Championship match. Kofi Kingston defending against Randy Orton. This was a good, solid match as well, but the finish really, you know, was unnecessary. And I feel like this match is pretty much a whole repeat of the whole AJ Samoa Joe title match from last year. Almost the exact same finish, and just felt very similar to that. You know, there wasn't too much to this match. You know, Randy Orton was able to counter the Cello in Paradise into his infamous backbreaker, which, you know, it's a big match, and Randy Orton busts out the backbreaker. Right from the get-go, you know, Orton was shoving some pushes on Kofi. You know, Kofi's able to counter the RKO into a backslide. And then, you know, to the outside, you know, Kofi was able to end up hitting the trust fall on Randy Orton. Randy Orton, you know, took Kofi on the outside, ended up hitting, you know, the infamous Orton backdrop on the announce tables on Kofi. Back in the ring, you know, Orton was going for the RKO. That's when Kofi, you know, countered it into the backslide, and then, you know, Kofi ended up hitting a crossbody in Randy Orton, and then ended up going for another one, and then Randy Orton ended up hitting him with an RKO midair. But then Kofi rolled up the outside. Orton was not able to cover him. Orton went to the outside to get Kofi, but stared at Kofi's kids, which led to a countout finish. Everyone was pissed, including myself. I thought that was stupid. Whatever. Kofi gets pissed at Orton for looking at his kids, ends up beating the shit out of Orton with the candlestick, and pretty much that was that. almost the exact, you know, finish, same finish as AJ and Joe from last year. So I wasn't a fan of it just because of that. But I don't know. I felt like this was the most anticipated match in the show. This was the most, you know, unpredictable one too. I felt like this match easily could have went either way, and for it to have such a flat finish with it being a count out, I think really killed a lot of people's interest. And I don't know. I think that was a bad decision, but that's just me. It is what it is. Obviously, they'll have a rematch probably at Clash of Champions, so whatever. The one match looking forward to, they decided to do is dumb finish, but what can you do? Finn Bálor taking on The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. The Fiend had an awesome entrance. Legitimately gave me chills. I thought it was absolutely awesome the way it came out. And the match was not what I was expecting. I mean, it was still kind of a squash, but The Fiend, you know, was taking over Finn Bálor. Bálor had to come back, hit the, you know, went the sling blade, but went for the coup de grace, but The Fiend catches him with the mandible claw and destroys Finn Bálor and, you know, pins him that way because he passes out and the referee counts the pin instead of, you know, the pass out. So The Fiend defeats Finn Bálor, which was expected. Just I didn't like the amount of offense Bálor got, but you know, Balor's a top guy, so it made sense to make him look, you know, somewhat decent in going to defeating Bray Wyatt, which is an underrated spot, might I add. The Fiend literally tried to commit murder on live pay-per-view. He literally took Balor's neck and tried to snap his neck. How no one reacted to that is beyond me. I don't think people know that was attempted murder, but The Fiend legitimately tried to kill Finn Bálor, and no one gave a shit. So I thought I'd point that out. That honestly, that should have been the finish. When he snapped his neck, that should have been the finish right there. But, you know, they went the mandible claw finish, which obviously is like his finish now, but snapping someone's neck, like, come on, that's legitimately killing them. Like, that should have been the finish, but yeah, great debut for The Fiend. He looked awesome, and definitely made me want to see more of him. And he's a spectacle. He's an attraction, and I'm all for it. You know, I've always been down on Bray Wyatt, but this new character, I'm all for it. I'm completely all for it, and I love every second of it. And then, of course, go to the main event, which was the Universal Championship match. Brock Lesnar defending against Seth Rollins. Finally, after 4 years I've been asking for it, we got the Brock Lesnar-Seth Rollins match I've been wanting. These two went out there and had an awesome main event. Right from the get-go, you know, Brock going for Rollins, you know, going for the German suplex, and Rollins lands on his feet and hits a stomp immediately on Lesnar. Lesnar obviously kicks out, goes for another stomp. Brock counters that into the F5, you know, throws Seth around, you know, actually picks him up by the tape around his waist and just throws him around like he's absolutely nothing. Hits some German suplexes. The match goes to the outside, which absolutely destroys Seth on the outside. You know, Lesnar gets thrown to the post, which allows, you know, Rollins to have his comeback. Ends up picking another stomp on Lesnar for a great near fall. Goes for a third stomp, but Brock ends up countering that. But as it goes for the F5, Rollins is able to drop down, hit a super kick, followed by a third and final stomp for the 1-2-3. Seth Rollins is once again your Universal Champion, and I'm all for it. I thought it was a great match, great main event. Brock decided to work today, and it definitely showed. And you know, Rollins winning definitely took me by surprise, especially clean as a sheet. There was nothing. There was no disputing it. You know, Rollins pinned Brock Lesnar clean as a sheet in the middle of the ring and won the Universal title. I didn't see him putting the title on Brock for a month and putting it back on Rollins. Just didn't make sense to me, but I guess they won that big SummerSlam match. And I feel like, I guess that match was the biggest match they could have done for the championship. So even though I'm kind of confused what the point of putting the title on Brock was, just to take it back off him and put it back on Rollins was, it was a great main event. I'm not taking anything away from it. It was a great moment for Rollins as well. So, you know, we got the champion back full time again, which is all I really asked for. And hopefully we get some fresh faces in the title scene. I don't want to see Baron Corbin. You know, I don't think Drew McIntyre is going in that title scene anytime soon. So maybe a debuting superstar, or maybe a return on Monday Night Raw tomorrow to challenge Seth Rollins. Who knows? But I'm definitely very excited to see what Seth Rollins has in store with the Universal Championship. So, yeah, that was a fantastic main event to a very good SummerSlam. Like I said, I thought it was a very good pay-per-view. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good, and I had fun with it. Like I said, I thought majority of stuff was on at least that good level. We had those handful of great matches. We had some great moments with Rollins winning the championship. The Fiend's debut was great as well. So we definitely had some great stuff on the show. And like I said, thought it was very enjoyable, and thought it was a very solid pay-per-view from WWE. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, please feel free to leave a like below. Of course, until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thank you guys for watching the video.